Alright, YouTube, what is up? You got your boy Crew Chips here, bringing you another commentary covering, of course, Black Ops 2. And yes, this is, like I said I was going to do, about the second round of the playoffs in the NFL. You know, as I previously said, I would do one maybe closer to next weekend, and I know it's only Tuesday, but I thought I should do one just because I can kind of do a recap of Wildcard weekend and kind of talk about the games coming up, and I thought, you know, why not get a commentary out, you know, sooner rather than later. Thought you guys might enjoy it, so, you know, here you guys go. But, gonna go ahead and jump right into this. As you all know, we had 4 games over the weekend. We had 2 last Saturday, and then, of course, 2 on the Sunday. And on Saturday, we had the Seahawks and the Redskins. Right? We had the was that on Saturday or was that on Sunday? I'm pretty sure that was on Sunday. Or Saturday. Or maybe Sunday. Hold on. Alright. Saturday. We had Cincinnati and Houston. And Minnesota and Green Bay in the later game. And in the Cincinnati and Houston game, Houston did come out on top, 19-13. So it was a close game. In my opinion, it was probably the most boring of the games because it were primarily field goals. You know, yeah, there was a touchdown or 2 in there, but it was still a very boring game to watch. Because who likes to watch field goal after field goal be made / missed? You know, I didn't even get to watch the whole thing because I think I had work. But besides the point, Houston moves on, and great for Houston. Round of applause to them. And in the later game, Green Bay took on Minnesota. And if you do keep up with football, you know that Christian Ponder, the starting quarterback for Minnesota, did not play due to an injury. I think it was something with his throwing arm or hand, something of the sort. But he could not play, so Joe Webb had to play. And as you can tell from the score, he must not have performed, coming out, you know, losing 24-10. You know, Joe Webb being, I see him kind of more like a Michael Vick in the sense that he's a smaller, faster type quarterback. He is one of those guys that have multiple threats, but the only thing is his throwing ability, his threats on the through the air are not all that hot, just because he doesn't get a lot of practice. He doesn't play with first team O, and that's just a backup for you, especially when it's Joe Webb that isn't exactly known for his reliability as being a backup quarterback. But anyway, poor Vikings losing their starting quarterback to an injury. I don't know. It must have been pretty bad because I can imagine Christian Ponder really wanted to play that game. But then talking about the later games, we had the Baltimore Ravens take on the Indianapolis Colts. This is on Sunday, by the way. And we had Seattle take on Washington. Both pretty, the Indianapolis-Baltimore game was a pretty bad game. Pretty bad game for the Colts, at least. The Ravens and Ray Lewis's last home game ever in, Baltimore. Great for them. They got the win 24-9. The Baltimore Ravens just tore up Indianapolis's defense. Andrew Luck didn't have the brightest of days. He is a rookie, so of course he's going to get some slack. He did great for his team, though, as a rookie, bringing them back from such a horrible record to a team in the playoffs. That's great for Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts, but sadly they did lose. I prefer the Ravens to win, so I'm okay there. But terrible game for the Colts. Great game for the Ravens. Go Ray Lewis, woohoo. Later game, Seattle took on Washington. Seattle took over that game, won 24-14. That's who I wanted to win just because I like Russell Wilson. Smaller guy. Everyone thought he was going to suck because of his height. Proves everyone wrong. Great quarterback. Marshawn Lynch had a beast of a game, as did Russell Wilson. They started out down early, but of course they picked up their game and they crushed everyone. So great for the Seattle team and terrible for the Washington team. Another kind of showing of the rookies playing against. I know there's 2 rookie quarterbacks, but in this case, one of them, RG3, he got injured really late in the 4th, even though I don't think if he wouldn't have gotten injured, they would have won. They were just already down at the point, and it just, his injury didn't, I don't think it hurt the loss, or made it worse, or lost in the game. You guys get what I'm saying. But RG3 came into that game already injured. Should he have played? I mean, he didn't do bad. He started out doing great. The Redskins as a team did as well, but it just completely went downhill, and I think, him not being able to play at his full potential, his, all of his strengths being there, that's gonna hurt the team overall. Just being in what's it called? He couldn't play to 100%, so his team isn't gonna perform at 100%. That's just how things go sometimes. So, that happened, and there's not much he can do about it. But hey, another rookie there. He brought his team back from terrible, being a terrible team to this team that was a competitor. So it's great for him. But that's a terrible recap of the wildcard weekend in the sense that just who won, who lost, in my short opinions on it. But gonna go ahead and jump into next week in some sorts with who's playing who and my prediction hopes and whatnot. But on January the 12th, which is Saturday, we got the Ravens playing the Broncos, which I will believe it will be a great game. And then the later game at 8 o'clock is Green Bay against San Francisco. Another game that I think will be great. You know, once you get these teams, the winning teams, it normally becomes better games. And then on Sunday, January the 13th, we have Seattle against Atlanta. And then on the later game at 4:30, we got Houston against New England. Now, going to the Baltimore-Denver game, I personally think Denver's going to make it into the Super Bowl just because of how they're performing with Peyton Manning. And, I mean, they already have a great defense. Now they have, you know, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the NFL. And they got a great running back. Well, they got an okay running back, no Sean Marino. And they have great wide receiver, Demarius Thomas, you know, Eric Decker. They've got everything they need to be the Super Bowl team. If they don't make it, they're gonna beat themselves in the sense that turnovers, not finishing, that kind of stuff. And then in the later game, you got Green Bay and San Francisco. I personally hate San Francisco. I think they're way overrated. Some people will be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? They got a great record, so how are they exactly overrated?" Just me personally, I just don't think they're a great team. I think they could be better, and I think people are thinking they're better than they really are. I mean, look at the New England game, look at the Seattle game. It's just I just don't see them making it past the front. I'd be really mad if they beat Green Bay, you know, in the sense that, especially because I think Green Bay's the better team here. You know, I just hate San Francisco. I don't like them. I'm sorry if you like San Francisco, but jump into Sunday because this game's almost wrapping up. I'm gotta go faster. We got Seattle and Atlanta. Atlanta also think they are overrated. Think Seattle is just on such a good track. That's the other team I think is going to make it to the Super Bowl. Just the way that they're playing, they have a spectacular defense. Sure, they lost Chris Clemens, but I think it's Chris Curtis something with a C Clemens. They lost him in their previous game, and apparently that's going to be a huge hurt to me. He's a great sack guy, but you know they have a great defense overall, so I don't think they'll be hurting too bad. But of course, you could always use a great player like him. And then in the later game, you got Houston and New England. I think Houston's going to struggle a little bit because I felt that they struggled against Cincinnati, who I don't think is as good as New England. New England has a better defense, in my opinion, and of course their offense is much better than Cincinnati's. Some may, you know, beg to differ, but you know they got a much better passing game, and that's kind of the big thing when it comes to an offense. The run game isn't as strong, if you ask me. I mean, they're more of a screen type team when it comes to running the ball, even though screens aren't really runs. I think you guys get what I'm saying, but it should be a great week next week in football. Hope that, you know, my predictions are Denver's going to win. Green Bay, Seattle, and New England. So that should be interesting. Hopefully all my predictions come true. And thank you for the gameplay, Crew Loco. Another great gameplay by him. And then, of course, after the divisional rounds, I will cover them and go into the championships and who I think will win, just kind of like I did here. You know, this is obviously only going to go on till Super Bowl is over. But I hope you guys enjoy it while it lasts, because I know I love doing these, because I love football more than anything in the entire world. So, I'll be seeing you guys later. I'm out. Peace.